Back to this breaking news. More documents declassified in the Trump-Russiagate controversy, and they point to this. Hillary Clinton is now accused of approving a plan manufactured by her 2016 campaign aide to sabotage and smear Donald Trump with unverified and unsubstantiated claims of Trump-Russia collusion. It was a scam in order to distract from her own intensifying email scandal in 2016. Let's take you now to Fox News' David Spunt. He's been digging into the documents. He joins us live in Washington, D.C. with more on this. David, good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Special counsel John Durham's investigation into the origins of the Trump-Russia narrative began in 2019 and ended in 2023 with a 300-page document and these words.
Our findings were sobering. I can tell you, having spent 40 years plus as a federal prosecutor, they were particularly sobering to me.
Today, Liz, we are seeing for the first time the missing 28 pages that were formerly classified, now declassified. The newly released annex to the Durham report alleges more examples of how the Hillary Clinton campaign allegedly tried to discredit the Trump campaign. The annex released today includes emails allegedly written by a man named Leonard with the Open Society Foundation. That's a foundation tied to George Soros. According to the annex, Leonard writes about a Clinton campaign advisor referred to several times, one time as Julianne, another as Julia, and another as Julie. The email says, quote, HRC, meaning Hillary Clinton, approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level. To be clear, though, these emails Durham received were once hacked by Russian intelligence, then given to U.S. intelligence. Durham received them there. The annex goes on to explain the FBI was fully alerted to the possibility that at least some of the information it received about the Trump campaign might have origins with the Clinton campaign or Russian disinformation, but dismissed the information, quote, as not credible without any investigative steps actually having been taken to either corroborate or disprove the allegations. CIA Director John Ratcliffe helped declassify this. He says the CIA stands with the department and is committed to transparency and rebuilding trust in the intelligence community. The American people deserve the opportunity to see the evidence for themselves. Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel also behind declassifying this annex, so we can read it. No comment to Fox yet from those mentioned in the actual annex. Liz?
David Spunt, thank you so much. For more on this, let's bring in Fox News senior legal analyst and author Gregg Jarrett. Greg, if only this were a bad John Grisham or Tom Clancy novel. I mean, so what the deafening silence, that's indicative that the Hillary Clinton, Obama, none of them are disputing or saying anything specifically about this emails, that they talked about, quote, raising the theme of Putin's support for Trump to the voter to distract from Hillary's email scandal. Then they admit in the documents that evidence for Trump-Russia collusion is regrettably still unavailable. That's a quote. Can the DOJ throw the book at them?
Oh, absolutely, they can, because, you know, there was never a Trump-Russia collusion conspiracy. There was a conspiracy to frame Donald Trump for collusion, and it's a criminal conspiracy. You know, Hillary invented the hoax, approving this scheme pitched by her top aide, Julianne Smith, to smear Trump by falsely claiming that he colluded with Russia. In one of her documents, she said, yeah, we don't have any evidence of that. That's an admission. And these new documents confirm that Barack Obama was in on the criminal conspiracy, along with his CIA, the FBI. And, you know, as part of their scheme, Liz, Obama pressured Comey to clear Clinton of her own email scandal, which, of course, he did despite obvious and clear evidence of her crimes. And then later, Obama directed, you know, Comey, Clapper, and Brennan, let's cover our tracks. We'll alter intelligence to say, yes, Russia meddled to help Trump, even though the real intel said the exact opposite. This is truly the dirtiest political trick in American history, and I think a criminal one.
And then they put into that 2017 Intel assessment the Steele dossier that the Clinton campaign and the DNC helped pay for. So this coordination between Hillary Clinton, top DNC leadership, a George Soros official to damage Trump, it suggests President Barack Obama and Obama officials and the FBI and CIA knew ahead of time. But this Soros official, Leonard Bernardo, in the documents, it indicates he emailed that Clinton campaign advisor in July 2016 saying Hillary Clinton approved Julie's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections, and saying that the point is making the Russian play a U.S. domestic issue. And then another Bernardo email reads, now it is good for a post-convention bounce. Later, the FBI will put more oil into this fire. It sounds like Democrats are not only a threat to democracy, but they carried out a plan to undermine it.
Oh, absolutely. And, I think it constitutes a broad criminal conspiracy by a great many corrupt actors, including the ones I named. And I would look at defrauding the government, deprivation of rights under color of law, and most importantly, obstruction of justice. And the cover-up, Liz, has been ongoing for years, which extends the statute of limitations in any criminal conspiracy case. The clock actually starts ticking when deliberately concealed evidence is discovered, which is recently. So, for example, the new FBI under Kash Patel just discovered incriminating documents in burn bags hidden at the FBI. They found hard drives squirreled away under lock and key by Comey. And attempting to conceal or destroy evidence relevant to investigations, that is obstruction. And the last overt act in the conspiracy starts the clock anew.
Now it starts the clock. Gregg Jarrett, that was really super interesting stuff. Thank you so much for that brilliant mind of yours, Gregg Jarrett.
Sure,
Thank you so much.